Hey there, people. Welcome to the Fit for 90 podcast, another episode of Truth or Myth. I'm your host, Cayman Bandel, footballer and strength and conditioning coach. Today, I'm running through things that footballers say all the time, stuff you hear in the changing rooms, in team chats, when you're speaking to each other, when I'm speaking to players throughout the week. Some of my teammates have said this as well. We're going to run through what they've been saying, whether they're wrong or right, whether it's a truth to what they're saying or whether what they're saying is complete bullshit. I want to be very, very honest about it. Some of these will be true. Some of them are complete myths. All right. Now, let's get into it. First one is, I've got a little list. If I'm tired, it means I'm getting fitter. This one depends. Some tiredness is normal when you apply new stimulus. But if you're always tired, if you're always heavy-legged, if you're always feeling flat, that is not building fitness. Literally, like, you are just running yourself into the ground. When you're getting fitter, the way that you can kind of look at this from how you feel, from perspective of how you feel on the actual pitch, you recover faster between high intensity efforts. You recover faster after intense sessions as well. You'll have better repeated efforts. So when you make a sprint, you'll be able to maintain that same kind of level of intensity of sprint over the course of 90 minutes. And in the last half an hour of a game, you'll be feeling quite sharp. You'll be feeling quite good. That's a good way to see if your fitness is showing up and what you're doing away from the pitch is actually helping you on the pitch. And if you're not feeling those things, you probably need to change the way that you're training or adjust and tweak a few things. Because being tired in your training throughout the week does not automatically mean I'm going to be fitter on game day. So if I'm tired, does it mean I'm getting fitter? Really, it depends. The second one I've got on my list is I don't need the gym because I play twice a week or I'm playing football multiple times a week. I hear this one a lot. This is understandable, but is bullshit. I can understand why players say it though. Matches do add stress to the body. Yes, football does add stress to the body. I get that. But they don't build strength. They don't build power. They don't build speed. They won't build robustness. Those football sessions you play throughout the week. Now, the gym's job isn't to replace your football. It's actually to support your football. This is where players get things wrong. Especially when you've got multiple games per week, when you've got multiple football sessions per week. The gym is a tool to help your football, not the other way around. Okay. And that's where often we see players training like bodybuilders, trying to go to football, turning up like they're walking like they shit themselves because they've done leg day and they're still sore 3 days after. The gym is a tool. Use it smartly. If you use it smartly, you 100% can go to the gym multiple times per week. In fact, I use myself as an example. I'm in a period right now where I think we've got 10 or 11 games coming up in the next 4 weeks. Yes, recovery is a priority, but does that mean I'm not going to go to the gym and lift? Absolutely not. And this is something we use in the program, we call it microdosing. So we're going to microdose the gym work across the week and implement it at the right time so that I still stay strong, especially in my problem areas, my calves, my ankles, making sure that my body stays robust because this time of year, the pitches are heavy. The opposition, they're all lumps. So like you have to be able to withstand and withstand it and look after yourself on the pitch, right? The only way you can do that is by making sure you stay strong. Okay. And the only way you can do that is through lifting and being in the gym and training as an athlete. It's not just through lifting, to be fair. There's other things you can do as well, but it's being in that gym environment and making sure you're putting the time and effort in. So yes, matches, football, they do add stress to the body, but if you use the gym in the right way as a tool to support your football, you can still do both. And you should be doing both if you're serious about improving your performance. Number 3 is that December is like, it doesn't really count. I'll just kind of write that one off and then we'll just start again in January. December's not the time to push hard. This means it's come and gone now. We're recording this on the 9th of Jan, but December is not a time to be pushing hard. It 100% does count though. It's a month of maintenance. It's not a month where you switch off, and it shouldn't be. But what we did, a lot of us in the program did in December, has shown up now. And this happens every single year. The ones that really show up in December, and when we talk about show up, we're just talking about doing the bare minimum because it is December. It is a very, very busy month. There's a lot going on. But if you maintain what you've built over the last, say, September, October, November, if you maintain that in December, January comes and you feel great. Like, that's how I'm feeling right now. Like, I don't really feel like I've lost. If anything, I feel like I'm better now than I was pre-Christmas, funnily enough. I've used those extra calories to help me recover. I've used extra calories to get a little bit stronger. And going into January now, I feel great. So there's always a lag on these things. Like, and I speak to my players a lot about this, about the lag effect. What we do now is going to show up in 6 to 8 weeks' time. What we did in December will probably show up, especially at the start of December. All of that stuff you did in December is going to show up this month. There's no hiding that. You can't out-train that. You can't run away from it. It will show up, and it will show up in how you feel, how you recover, how you perform, how fit you feel as well. So you can't hide it, but if you recognize that there's a lag, you can work with this. You can get it working for you. Put the work in now, so at the end of the month you're feeling good. Do the right things now. Don't just train harder, but train smarter, and that will show up last week of January, first week of February. And number 4 is that running more is the best way to get fitter. This one, let's see, it depends. If you've never run at all, then more running is definitely going to help, at least initially. But if you're already training and playing a lot, if you're playing football multiple times a week, like your fitness, especially in that last half an hour, it comes from repeated efforts. It comes from being well recovered going into your game. It comes from being fresh for match day. If you just pile the miles on top of the miles, if you're a bit of more of a beginner, then yeah, you might see some good gains at the start initially with this, but then at some point you will kind of plateau and burn out. Whereas if you're a bit more advanced and you're playing multiple times per week, you need to be really smart with how you get that exposure to your running. If you're just doing more and more miles on top of more miles, it's not a good look, and it's a recipe for really kind of you feeling quite flat on game day, quite honestly. I've done this myself, so I'm talking for personal experience. Number 5 is that I'll just push through this niggle, or I'm feeling a little bit of a knock, or I've got a little bit of a niggle in my calf, for example. I'll just push through it. This one does depend. There's a short-term approach versus a long-term approach. Times you do play through some discomfort. I've done it myself. That is football. Like you have a bit of a knock, you strap up, you get the DP out, you get the KT tape on. Physio does a little bit on you before the game, and you're away. But if you consistently ignore the issues without adjusting any kind of training, without putting any focus towards that, your niggles then turn into longer setbacks. What we see with a lot of players is the smarter ones, especially, and this is what we help a lot of the lads in the program do, is we manage the load. If you manage it and you start to feel, say if you go for a really heavy football schedule like I'm about to over the next kind of 4 or 5 weeks, if I start to feel problem areas, so if my calves start to tighten up a little bit, I have to be smart with what I do around football, and I have to take care of that. If I'm not smart with it, if I'm stubborn, what will happen is I will end up injured, or this could be you right now. You just push through the pain, you end up injured, and now you have to manage a rehab block for 4, 6, 8, 12 weeks. I would much rather spend 20, 30 minutes a week, or even just an hour a week, taking care of my body, rather than 8 weeks, 12 weeks in a rehab block, because rehab is boring. It is fucking boring. Like, I hate it. Whenever I've had injuries in the past, I don't get too many nowadays, but I mean, last year, in fact, the last serious injury I had was last year. I tore my soleus muscle, which is the muscle, just basically a calf muscle just below the calf. The rehab for that was boring, but it was a result of exactly what I'm saying here. I had a little niggle. It was tight. We had cup final coming up. We had 2 cup finals coming up. We had a big end to the season. I was like, there's no way. I was team captain. I'm not missing it. So I cracked on. Unfortunately, in the final, about 6th minute, the calf went, and that was it. I was out for about 4, 6 weeks, I think it was. I had to go into a rehab block. I was stubborn with it. And sometimes you push through these things. Sometimes you get through it. Sometimes you don't. So just pushing through niggles, I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest with you. Depending on what it is, if you do push through it, you have to have a plan of action to back it up and say, right, I'm going to push through it, but this is also how I'm going to take care of it so it doesn't become a bigger issue. Number 6 is I can eat whatever I want as long as I train hard. No, you can't. You can get away with it for a while, but your performance, your recovery, and your consistency at some point is going to take a hit. Food and fueling for performance in particular, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to eat like a bodybuilder or like the influencers you see online. You need to be prepared. You need to have the knowledge on how much you should be fueling, how much your body actually needs to perform at a good level, having an understanding of calories in and out, having an understanding of macronutrients, the principles of nutrition, knowing how much protein you need, knowing when to eat your carbs, knowing what fats are actually for, knowing what micronutrients you need, because we always focus on the macronutrients, which is your protein, carbs, and fats. We very rarely look at the micronutrients. your vitamins and your minerals. So it's about being prepared and having the knowledge. And I think if you get that on board, you can't eat whatever you want as long as you train hard, but you can. You'd be surprised at how much you can eat to perform to fuel your performance, but you can't just wing it. And you can, if you are winging it, it's going to catch up with you, without a doubt. I've done that myself in the past, and I used to think it was like I was fueling myself for the high intensity exercise, but it got to a point when I realized, actually, hold on, nutrition is at least 70, if not 80% of the performance puzzle. Training is about 10%. And then the other 10% is probably all the other stuff like sleep and things like that, stress management. Training is a very, very small part of the puzzle. So you need to be switched on with what you're doing outside of the gym. Number 7 is that I know my body. I don't need a plan. We hear that one a lot. I like that one. I know what my body needs. I don't need a plan. I don't need to follow anything. It's actually half true, because knowing your body is important. But then knowing your body and then winging it with everything else you're doing, you're setting yourself up to fail. If you know your body and then you have a structure and a good system, you can then use how you feel to boost your performance, to boost your strength, to boost your speed, to boost your power, based on the fact that you really know your body well. And a lot of players say this, oh yeah, I really know my body, I'm really in tune with my body. Great. So what's the system you have in place to benefit that and progress? If anything, you should be progressing faster than someone who doesn't know their body or who isn't as in tune with their body. Because without structure, a lot of you are just going to be reacting instead of planning and structuring and tweaking things for your performance. Number 8 is, I'll just wait till preseason to get fit. I'm not a big fan of this. I think it's a very risky strategy. Preseason works best when it tops up on your fitness base. And that's actually what the off-season is for. There's a phase before the preseason, which is the off-season. So when you top up your fitness base, instead of rebuilding it, that works great in preseason. If you go in really unfit or undercooked, you are in serious shit, because especially when we look at the non-league game, coaches don't really look too much at load management and things like that. They'll get you in and you're running and they'll beast you, and you got to put up with it. Otherwise you ain't getting a look in. So you need to go into preseason ready to go. You don't need to be at peak fitness, but you need to be fit going in my opinion. The other side to this is also, when we look at preseason, usually lasts about 6 to 8 weeks for most teams, right? Is that enough to keep you fit for a season that runs 9 months, sometimes 10 months? A 9-month season, can you really prepare yourself for that off of 8 weeks of training in the summer, around all the holidays, around all the alcohol, around all the beer gardens? I don't think you can. I think you need to have a structure and a system that's continued throughout the season to either maintain the fitness you build in pre-season or to actually get fitter throughout the season, which football can definitely help with. Playing football can definitely help with, and then you can plug the gaps around it. But if you just focus on pre-season, that 8 weeks, and thinking that's going to take care of things, not going to happen. Number 9, if I miss a session, I've ruined my week. That is not true. It's a myth. One missed session is not going to matter. What then matters is how quickly you rebound and return to routine, or whether you spiral and one session becomes a week missed. So I said this in my last episode, consistency will beat perfection every single time. So be consistent with your efforts. Don't try and be a 10 out of 10 every single day. Some days are going to be a 6 out of 10. Some days are going to be 2 out of 10. Some days are going to be 10 out of 10. Just try and give 100% effort on that given day, and you'll be fine. Number 10, the fittest lads are just natural athletes. They're naturally fitter. It's bullshit. Some lads do have better engines, naturally, yeah, sure. I get that. But the ones who stay fit all season, all year round, that's not by fluke. They manage their training, they're managing their recovery, they're managing their habits probably better than anyone else. You build your fitness and then you protect your fitness. That's the saying that I've always lived by. You build it, and I spent a long time building it, probably made a lot of mistakes, more than I probably needed to be fair, but you live and you learn. Once I built that, I then protected it. And when I say protected it, it means that I showed up consistently, whether I felt like it or not, and just did the absolute bare minimum I needed to keep myself ticking. And that's the approach I've taken, especially since we've had 3 kids. I've got running the business now. There's so much more in my life than it was maybe when I was 21, 22. I built a lot of my fitness in my early 20s, like some serious level fitness. I speak about a lot in my content in my last podcast episode. Hit a Premier League stand on the yo-yo test. I did that when I didn't have kids. I was literally living life like an athlete, like a pro athlete. Like I didn't have many commitments. That got turned on his head. I've got 3 kids, 3 under 3. I've got commitments. I suddenly built a business that's thriving. I've got a business to run now. I've got social commitments, personal commitments. I've got commitments to my wife. There's so much. Still playing football multiple times per week. Still got game on a Saturday. That Saturday written off. So I have to protect the fitness. I have to protect what I've built. And the way to do that is not by shying away from it, not from hiding away from it, is by tackling it and facing it head on and doing the work that needs to be done. That is my 10. Truth or myth, guys. Hopefully you took a lot from that. You might find yourself saying some of these. It's not an attack at you. It's just to try and help you to shift your mindset a little bit. I wanted to do this episode because, like footballers, like a lot of you listen to this, you're not stupid, right? You just have, a lot of you have got beliefs that some beliefs do have some truth in them, but some get taken too far or applied in the wrong way. I don't think it's the thing that's going to make a real difference isn't the effort that you put in. It's understanding when something helps, what you're doing is actually helping, or if it's hurting you. If you want to put this all into a structure, a proper structure, that's what we do. That's what I do. The 90-minute engine accelerator is live. We close our doors to it on Tuesday, the 13th of January. If you want to train with intent, if you want to stop guessing with your training, the link will be somewhere around this video, or go to my Instagram at coach_Cayman. Click the link in my bio and you can get all the details there. Have a good one.